The small diner smelled like coffee and bacon, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone. Everyone except her. She stood behind the counter, wiping down the same spot for the third time. Her name tag read Lily in faded letters. 24 years old, but she felt ancient. The kind of tired that sleep couldn't fix. When customers got too close, her body went rigid. Like a deer sensing danger. She'd step back, create distance, keep the counter between them. Some people noticed. Most didn't care. 6 months. That's how long it had been since she walked out of that apartment with nothing but a backpack and bruises hidden under long sleeves. The shelter had been her home for 4 months. Now she had a tiny studio apartment with locks on the door. 3 locks. She checked them every night before bed. Sometimes twice. The breakfast rush was ending. Old Mr. Chen left his usual $2 tip. The construction workers from the site down the road gulped down their coffee and hurried out. The diner fell into that quiet lull between morning and lunch. That's when she allowed herself to breathe. Her manager, Rita, was kind. Late 50s, gray hair always in a bun, reading glasses hanging from a chain around her neck. She'd hired Lily without asking too many questions. Just looked at her application, looked at her face, and said, "When can you start?" Rita understood things without them being spoken. She scheduled Lily for morning shifts when the crowd was predictable. She never assigned her tables near the back corner where the lighting was dim. Small mercies that meant everything. "You doing okay, honey?" Rita asked, refilling the coffee pot. Lily nodded. Words felt heavy in her throat most days. "Take your break. You've been on your feet since 5. The break room was just a closet with a folding chair and a microwave that hummed too loud. Lily sat there eating a granola bar, staring at the wall. Her therapist's words echoed in her mind. "Engage with the world, Lily. Small steps. You're stronger than you think." But she didn't feel strong. She felt like glass that had already shattered. You could glue the pieces back together, but the cracks would always show, and if someone touched her wrong, she might just fall apart again. Her phone buzzed. A text from the support group at the shelter. "Meeting tonight at 7. We miss you." She'd been avoiding the meetings. Hearing other women's stories made her relive her own. The yelling, the apologies, the promises that things would change. The slow realization that they never would. But maybe she should go. The therapist said community helped. Connection helped, even when it felt impossible. The lunch shift started creeping in. Lily tied her apron tighter and walked back to the counter. A young mother with 2 kids. A businessman on his laptop. A couple holding hands across the table. She watched the couple and felt something twist in her chest. Not jealousy exactly. More like disbelief. How did people do that? Trust someone enough to let them close? To hold their hand? To not flinch when they reached across the table? Her ex used to hold her hand, before everything changed. Before she realized that the charming guy who bought her flowers could become the man who made her afraid to breathe too loud. "Don't touch me. I'm broken," she whispered to herself. It had become her mantra. Her protection. If she believed it hard enough, maybe she could keep people away. Keep herself safe. Rita appeared beside her with a tray of clean mugs. "You know what I learned after my divorce?" Rita said quietly, arranging the mugs on the shelf. "Being broken doesn't mean being finished. Sometimes broken things become something new, something different. Not worse, just different." Lily wanted to believe that. She really did. The bell above the door chimed. She looked up, ready to greet the next customer with her practiced smile. The one that didn't reach her eyes but was enough to get her through the day. A giant of a man walked in. Not giant in the scary way. Giant in the way mountains are giant, solid, unmovable. He had to duck slightly under the doorframe. His shoulders were broad from years of hard work. His face was weathered like old leather with deep lines around his eyes. Eyes that were surprisingly gentle for such a large man. He wore work boots covered in dust and a flannel shirt rolled up at the sleeves. His hair was long, pulled back, streaked with gray. He looked somewhere in his 50s, maybe older, the kind of man who'd lived a full life and had the scars to prove it. He chose the counter seat. The one right in front of where Lily stood, her heart jumped. Too close, but this was her job. She couldn't run. "Coffee, please," he said. His voice was deep but soft. Like he was trying not to startle her. Could he tell? Could he see how nervous she was? She poured the coffee with shaking hands. Managed not to spill it. Small victory. Toast too. "No butter?" She nodded, put the order in, kept her eyes down. He didn't try to make conversation, just sat there drinking his coffee, looking out the window at the street. Somehow his silence felt different from other people's silence. Not awkward, just peaceful. When his toast came, he ate slowly. No phone, no newspaper, just a man having breakfast. Lily busied herself wiping counters, refilling napkin holders, anything to look occupied. But she was aware of him. The way you're aware of a storm cloud or a bonfire, something big that commanded attention without trying. When he finished, he left a $5 bill for a $3 meal. "Thank you," he said, making eye contact for just a moment. Then he was gone, ducking back through the door, disappearing into the morning. "That's Big Joe," Rita said, appearing with a knowing smile. "Comes in sometimes. Works construction, good man. Apache from the reservation about an hour from here." Lily just nodded, collecting the bill and the empty plate. Her hands weren't shaking anymore. Strange. That night she went to the support group meeting, sat in the circle of folding chairs in the community center basement, listened to women talk about their journeys, their setbacks, their small wins. When it was her turn to share, she said, "I'm still here." "That's something, right?" The group leader, a woman named Patricia who'd survived her own nightmare, smiled warmly. "That's everything, honey. You're still here. You're still standing. That's where it starts." Walking back to her apartment, Lily thought about the giant man in the diner, Big Joe. Something about the way he moved through the world, calm and steady, made her feel a little less afraid. She checked her 3 locks that night, but only once. It was a start. Big Joe became part of the morning rhythm at the diner. Not every day, but most days, usually around 7 in the morning, right when the construction workers were leaving and before the late breakfast crowd arrived. It was like he knew exactly when to come, the perfect quiet moment, always the same order. Black coffee, toast, no butter. Sometimes he'd add a side of eggs if he was particularly hungry. Lily found herself listening for the bell above the door, watching for that broad frame ducking through the entrance. It became something she could count on in a world that had taught her nothing was reliable. "Morning," he'd say in that deep, gentle voice. "Morning," she'd reply, and pour his coffee before he even asked. By the second week, it became their routine. She'd have his cup ready. He'd nod his thanks. No wasted words. No uncomfortable small talk. Just this simple exchange that somehow felt safe. Rita noticed, of course. She noticed everything. "You don't flinch when he comes to the counter," she observed one day, restocking the pie display. Lily paused mid-wipe. Rita was right. She hadn't even realized it. With other customers, especially men, she maintained her distance, kept that invisible barrier up. But with Big Joe, her body didn't scream danger the way it usually did. Maybe because he never pushed, never leaned too close, never let his hand linger when she gave him his change. He respected space like it was sacred. 3 weeks in, he spoke more than usual. "Good coffee here," he said, wrapping his large hands around the mug. "Thanks. It's nothing special, just the regular stuff. Regular stuff made with care tastes better than fancy stuff made without it." It was such a simple observation, but it stuck with her. Made with care. When was the last time someone had noticed she put care into anything? "You work construction?" she asked, surprising herself. She never initiated conversation with customers. "Foreman. Been doing it 30 years. Building things. Fixing things." He looked at his hands, calloused and scarred. "Good work. Honest work, that's nice. Having work you believe in. You don't like waitressing?" She shrugged. "It's okay. It's just a job. Pays the bills. Nothing wrong with that. We all got bills." He took a sip of coffee. "But eventually you find the thing that's more than bills. The thing that makes you feel like you're building something." She wanted to ask what he was building, but the words stuck. The conversation had already gone further than she was comfortable with. He seemed to sense it because he went quiet again, finished his coffee, left his usual generous tip. A month passed like this. The comfortable routine, the quiet mornings, the steady presence of this giant man who somehow made the diner feel safer just by being in it. Then one morning he brought someone with him. Well, not with him. But Lily noticed another man hovering outside, waiting by a truck in the parking lot. Younger, maybe late 20s, tall like Big Joe but leaner. Long dark hair like his father's, because it had to be his son. The resemblance was unmistakable. Big Joe ordered his usual, but his energy was different. Not nervous exactly, but purposeful, like he was gathering courage for something. Lily poured his coffee, her curiosity fighting with her instinct to mind her own business. "That your son outside?" she asked, the words slipping out before she could stop them. Big Joe's face softened, pride and pain mixed together in his expression. "Yeah, that's my boy. Good kid, well, not a kid anymore. 28 now, but still my kid, you know." "He doesn't want coffee?" "He's waiting. Got to talk to him after." Big Joe stirred his coffee even though he drank it black. A nervous gesture. "Lost his mother 5 years back, cancer. Been just the two of us since." "I'm sorry." "Me too. Every day." He looked at her then, really looked at her. "He's a good man. Works as a tribal police officer. Helps people. But he's been lonely. Real lonely. Won't admit it, but a father knows." Lily wasn't sure where this was going, but something in her chest tightened. "He needs someone who understands hurt," Big Joe continued slowly. "Someone who knows what it's like to put yourself back together. Someone gentle who's learned to be strong." The diner suddenly felt too small, too warm. "Why are you telling me this?" Big Joe took a long sip of his coffee. "Because I've been watching you for weeks now. The way you move through the world like you're expecting it to hurt you. The way you're kind even when you're scared. The way you check the parking lot before you leave at the end of your shift." Her face flushed. He'd noticed all that. "I've seen a lot in my life," he said gently. "Seen people broken by things that shouldn't break people. And I've seen people find their way back. Not to who they were, but to who they're meant to be. I don't understand what you're asking me." He pulled a napkin from the dispenser and took out a pen from his shirt pocket. Wrote down a phone number in surprisingly neat handwriting. "I'm not asking anything right now. Just giving you a choice." He slid the napkin across the counter. "My boy needs someone real. Someone who understands that life isn't perfect. You need someone patient. Someone who won't push. Maybe that's something worth considering." "You want me to date your son?" The words came out sharper than she intended, powered by panic. "I want you to meet him. Just meet him. Talk. See if there's anything there. No pressure. No expectations. Just two people who maybe could help each other be less lonely." This was insane. Completely insane. She didn't even know this man, not really. A few weeks of morning coffee didn't mean anything. And he was basically asking her to go on a blind date with his son? Based on what? The fact that she was broken and his son was sad? "I can't," she whispered. "I'm not ready for anything like that. I can barely handle this job most days. I'm not saying today. I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm just saying think about it." He finished his coffee and stood up. "That number will be good whenever you're ready. Could be next week. Could be next year, or never. That's up to you." He left his usual tip plus an extra $10 for your time, for listening to an old man ramble about his kid. Then he walked out, spoke briefly to his son by the truck, and they drove away together. Lily stared at the napkin with the phone number like it might bite her. Rita materialized beside her. "'Cause of course she did." "Well, that was interesting. He wants me to date his son. Is that the weirdest thing you've ever heard?" Actually, in Apache culture, family involvement in relationships is pretty traditional. Elders often help guide their children toward good matches. Rita had that look on her face, the one that meant she'd been around long enough to see everything twice. The question isn't whether it's weird. The question is whether you're curious. Was she curious? The panic said no. The fear said absolutely not. The part of her that had learned to protect herself at all costs screamed danger. But there was another part. A tiny, quiet part that had been dormant for so long she'd almost forgotten it existed. The part that still hoped, that still wondered if maybe, possibly, there was something good waiting on the other side of all this fear. She folded the napkin and put it in her apron pocket. "I'm not calling," she told Rita firmly. "Okay, honey. I mean it." "This is crazy. I believe you. I can't even let people hug me. How am I supposed to date someone?" "You're probably right." But that night, alone in her apartment, Lily took the napkin out, unfolded it, looked at those 10 digits written in careful handwriting. She didn't call. But she didn't throw it away either. She put it on her refrigerator, held up by a magnet shaped like a sunflower, just in case the quiet, hopeful part of her ever got loud enough to matter. The napkin stayed on Lily's refrigerator for 2 weeks. Every morning she'd make her instant coffee and stare at those numbers. 10 simple digits that felt like 10 impossible mountains to climb. Some days she'd pick up her phone, punch in the first 3 numbers, then delete them and throw the phone on her bed like it burned her fingers. Her therapist noticed the shift in their sessions. "Something's different," Dr. Williams said, clicking her pen, eyes sharp behind frameless glasses. "You're more agitated than usual. Want to talk about it?" Lily had been seeing Dr. Williams for 5 months now. Twice a week, sitting in that office with the fake plant in the corner and the motivational poster about courage that she'd read so many times she had it memorized. "Someone asked me something," Lily finally said. "Asked you what?" "To meet his son. For like a date or whatever." Dr. Williams's expression didn't change. She was good at that. Never looked shocked or judgmental. "Just curious." "And how did that make you feel?" "Terrified, confused, angry maybe?" "I don't know. Why would he ask me? He doesn't even know me." "Does he know anything about you?" "He knows I'm scared. He said he could tell. That I move like I'm expecting the world to hurt me." Saying it out loud made her throat tight. Is it that obvious? Can everyone see it? Trauma changes how we carry ourselves. There's no shame in that. Dr. Williams leaned forward slightly. "Did you feel unsafe when he asked?" That was the weird part. No, he was actually really gentle about it. Said there was no pressure. That it could be never and that would be okay too. "So why does it feel impossible?" "Because I am impossible." The words burst out before Lily could stop them. "I can't even let my coworker pat my shoulder without flinching. I check my locks 3 times every night. I have nightmares where I wake up convinced he's in my apartment even though I know he's not. How am I supposed to date someone when I'm this broken? What if you stop thinking of yourself as broken?" "But I am. You're healing. That's different." Dr. Williams set her pen down. "Broken suggests you're damaged beyond repair. Healing means you're in process, moving towards something, even if it's slow, even if some days you move backward." Lily wanted to believe that. But healing suggested there was something worth healing toward, that eventually she'd be normal again. "Feel normal again? What if I'm never ready?" she whispered. "Then you're never ready. But what if you are? What if 6 months from now or a year from now you wish you'd at least tried?" The session ended like it always did, with Dr. Williams reminding her to be gentle with herself, to take things one small step at a time, to remember that courage wasn't the absence of fear but action in spite of it. Walking to the bus stop, Lily pulled out her phone, stared at the screen, put it away, took it out again. She called her friend from the support group, Aisha. They'd gotten close over the past few months, texting occasionally between meetings. Aisha was 32, 3 years out from her own nightmare and one of the strongest people Lily knew. "Girl, you sound stressed," Aisha said when she answered. "What's going on?" Lily explained everything. The giant Apache man at the diner, the son, the napkin, the impossible question. "So let me get this straight," Aisha said slowly. "A nice man who's been respectful for weeks wants to set you up with his son and you're spiraling?" "It sounds less crazy when you say it like that. Lily, honey, I'm going to be real with you. This could be nothing, or it could be something. But you won't know unless you at least try. What if I can't do it? What if I freeze up or have a panic attack or... Then you have a panic attack and you leave. Nobody's going to force you to stay. You're in control here. That's the whole point. Control. She hadn't felt in control of anything in so long. I don't know if I can. You don't have to know. You just have to try. Baby steps, remember? You don't have to marry the guy. You don't even have to like him. Just meet him in public, during the day. See what happens. After they hung up, Lily sat at the bus stop for an extra 20 minutes, missing 2 buses. People came and went around her. Life happening at normal speed while she sat frozen in time. Her phone felt heavy in her pocket. Back at her apartment, she did what she always did when she was anxious. Cleaned, scrubbed the already clean counters, organized her closet that didn't need organizing, washed dishes that had been washed yesterday. The napkin with the phone number stared at her from the refrigerator like a dare. "Okay," she said out loud to her empty apartment. Okay. She grabbed her phone before she could overthink it. Typed in the number. Her thumb hovered over the call button for what felt like an hour but was probably only 30 seconds. She pressed it. It rang once, twice, 3 times. "Hello?" Deep voice, gentle, Big Joe. Hi. This is Lily, from the diner. You gave me your number and I don't know why I'm calling actually. This was probably a mistake. Lily. His voice was warm, like he was smiling. "I'm glad you called. Real glad you are. Been hoping you would. Didn't think you would, but hoping. Her heart was hammering so hard she thought it might break through her ribs. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at anything involving people right now. That's all right. Nobody's asking you to be good at it. Just asking you to show up. Show up where? Anywhere you want. Anywhere you feel safe. My son, his name is Daniel. He's nervous too, if that helps. Been a long time since he's tried to meet anyone new. Daniel. Not a bad name, normal, regular. There's a park near downtown. Lily heard herself saying. Watson Park with the duck pond. I know it. Good place, open, lots of people around. Saturday, 2 o'clock. I'll be by the pond. She was talking fast now, getting it out before she lost her nerve. But I might leave. If I get scared, I might just leave. I need you to know that. That's fair. That's more than fair. Daniel will understand. I'll make sure he understands. Okay. Okay. They hung up and Lily immediately collapsed on her couch, adrenaline flooding her system like she'd just run a marathon. Her hands were shaking. Her breath was coming too fast, but she'd done it. She'd actually done it, she texted Aisha. I called. Saturday at 2 Watson Park, I'm freaking out. Aisha responded immediately. Proud of you. Want me to be nearby? I can sit in my car in the parking lot just in case. Lily almost cried at the offer. Would you? Already putting it in my calendar. You got this, girl. But if you need an escape plan, just text me and I'll call with a fake emergency. The next few days crawled by like molasses. At the diner, Lily kept expecting Big Joe to show up, but he didn't. Maybe he was giving her space. Maybe he was nervous too. Rita noticed her distraction. You seem different. Good different. I called the number. Rita's face lit up like Christmas morning. And? I'm meeting him Saturday, the son, Daniel. Good for you, honey. That took guts, or stupidity. Haven't decided which yet. Friday night, Lily tried on every outfit she owned. Too dressy. Too casual. Too much skin showing. Not enough. She finally settled on jeans and a simple blue sweater. Comfortable, safe. Easy to run in if she needed to run. She barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, her brain spiraled. What would they talk about? What if he was pushy? What if he expected something from her? What if she disappointed him? What if she disappointed his father? What if? Saturday morning arrived cold and clear. Lily stood in front of her bathroom mirror giving herself the same pep talk Dr. Williams had given her 100 times. You are strong. You are capable. You are enough. You can do hard things. The words felt hollow, but she said them anyway. At 1:30, she texted Aisha, leaving now. Completely terrified. You got this. I'll be in the parking lot reading a book. You're safe. The park was busy with weekend families. Kids on the playground. Couples walking dogs. Joggers on the path around the pond. Normal life happening all around her. Lily found a bench near the duck pond and sat down. Checked her phone. 1:55. Her leg bounced with nervous energy. At exactly 2 o'clock, a man approached from the parking lot. Tall. Long dark hair pulled back. Jeans and a simple jacket. He moved carefully like someone aware of their own size, trying not to take up too much space. When he got close enough, she saw his eyes. Dark and kind, but sad around the edges. The kind of sad that doesn't go away. The kind you just learn to carry. He stopped about 6 feet away. A respectful distance, Lily? He asked softly. She nodded, not trusting her voice. I'm Daniel. It's nice to meet you. He didn't offer his hand. Didn't try to come closer. Just stood there, waiting for her to decide what happened next. And somehow, impossibly, Lily felt her shoulders relax just a fraction. Maybe she could do this after all. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Daniel stood there, maintaining that careful distance, hands in his jacket pockets, not fidgeting, not checking his phone. Just present, patient. Lily studied him from where she sat. He looked tired. Not sleepy tired, but soul tired, the kind that comes from carrying heavy things for too long. She recognized it because she saw it in her own mirror every morning. You can sit, she finally said, gesturing to the other end of the bench. If you want. Thanks. He sat down slowly, leaving almost 3 feet of space between them. Nice day for the park. Yeah. She watched a family of ducks paddle across the pond. Safe small talk. She could do this. Do you come here a lot? Sometimes. When I need to think. It's peaceful. Silence settled between them again, but it wasn't as uncomfortable as she'd feared. The sounds of the park filled the space. Children laughing, dogs barking, wind rustling through the trees that were just starting to turn colors for fall. "Your dad told you about me?" Lily asked, a little. "Said you work at the diner, said you were kind, said you'd been through some hard stuff." Daniel looked at the pond instead of at her. "He told me not to push, to let you lead. So if this is weird or you want to leave, that's okay." "It is weird," she admitted. "I don't do this. I don't meet people. I barely leave my apartment except for work and therapy." "I get that. Different reasons, but I get that. Your dad said you're a police officer, tribal police, on the reservation. Been doing it about 6 years now." He picked up a small pebble, rolled it between his fingers. "It's good work, helping the community, but it's heavy sometimes." "Heavy how?" "Seeing things, knowing things, carrying other people's worst days with you." He tossed the pebble gently toward the water. It landed with a soft plunk. "My mom used to say I felt things too much, that I took the whole world on my shoulders." She sounds wise. She was. His voice got quieter. "Cancer took her 5 years ago. Breast cancer. She fought hard, but sometimes fighting isn't enough. I'm sorry." "Me too." He finally looked at her. His eyes were gentle but searching. "My dad said you understood loss. Different kind, but still loss." Lily's throat tightened. She wasn't ready to talk about her ex, about what she'd lost. Her sense of safety, her ability to trust, her belief that the world could be good. "We don't have to talk about hard stuff," Daniel said quickly, reading her discomfort. "We could just walk. Look at ducks. Talk about nothing." The offer felt like a gift. "Okay, yeah. Walking sounds good." They stood up and started along the path that circled the pond. Daniel matched her pace, never walking ahead or behind. Just beside her. That careful distance still maintained. "You grow up around here?" he asked. "About an hour south. Small town. Couldn't wait to leave." Lily wrapped her arms around herself even though it wasn't that cold. Thought the city would be different, better. Turns out people are people everywhere. That's the truth. "I grew up on the reservation. Left for a while, went to college in Phoenix. Thought I'd stay there, make a life. But I kept getting pulled back. Some places just hold on to you, I guess. You like it there?" "The reservation?" "Most days. It's home. My dad's there. My uncles and cousins. The community. It's not perfect, but it's mine, you know." She did know. That feeling of belonging somewhere, even if that somewhere wasn't ideal. She'd lost that when she left her ex. Lost her friends who didn't understand why she stayed so long. Lost the apartment they'd shared. Lost the version of herself who believed love was supposed to feel good. They walked in silence for a while. Past joggers and elderly couples holding hands. A teenager throwing a tennis ball for an excited golden retriever. "Normal Saturday life, can I ask you something?" Daniel said eventually. Lily tensed. "Maybe. Why'd you call?" "My dad said he gave you his number but didn't think you would." Honest question. Deserved an honest answer even if she didn't fully understand it herself. "Because part of me is tired of being scared," she said slowly. "And part of me thinks maybe I don't have to do this alone. Figure out how to be a person again, I mean. You seem like a person to me. A broken one. Broken's better than empty." He said it like he meant it. "I've been empty. After Mom died, I was just going through motions. Work, home, sleep. Work, home, sleep. Wasn't really living. Just existing. What changed? Nothing, really. I'm still mostly just existing, but my dad keeps pushing me. Says life's too short to spend it half asleep. Says Mom wouldn't want me to waste what she fought so hard to keep." Daniel's voice got thick. "She made me promise at the end. Made me promise I'd find joy again. That I'd let people in. That's a hard promise to keep, impossible some days. But I'm trying. That's why I said yes when Dad told me about you. Figured even if nothing comes of it, at least I'm trying." They reached a small bridge over the narrowest part of the pond, stopped in the middle, leaning on the railing, watching the water flow underneath. "I was in a bad relationship," Lily heard herself saying. Hadn't planned to say it, but it came out anyway. Really bad. The kind where you lose yourself piece by piece until you don't recognize who you are anymore. Daniel didn't respond immediately, just listened. "I got out 6 months ago. Lived in a shelter for a while. Now I have my own place, but it doesn't feel like mine yet. Nothing feels like mine. I feel like I'm borrowing someone else's life. How'd you get out, if you don't mind me asking?" One morning I woke up and realized I had a choice. I could stay and let it kill me slowly, or I could leave and maybe possibly have a chance at something else. She gripped the railing tighter, so I left. While he was at work, packed one backpack and walked out. Never went back. That took courage. It took desperation. There's a difference. I don't think so. Sometimes courage is just desperation that moves forward instead of staying still. That hit something deep in her chest. Maybe he was right. Maybe all courage was just the decision to keep moving even when staying seemed easier. I flinch when people get too close, she said quietly. I have nightmares. I check my locks 3 times before bed. Sometimes I hear his voice in my head telling me I'm worthless and I believe it. That's what you're getting into here. That's what your dad set you up with. And I carry my mom's death like a weight on my back. I see the worst of people in my job and it makes me cynical. I push everyone away because it's easier than risking loss again. I haven't been on a date in 4 years because I can't imagine letting someone into the mess I am. Daniel turned to look at her fully. So I guess we're both pretty heavy, huh? She met his eyes for the first time. Really looked at him and she saw it. The same thing she'd seen in Big Joe. That gentleness that came from being broken and learning to be soft anyway. The kind of strength that didn't come from never falling down but from getting back up over and over. Your dad knew, didn't he? She said, that we'd both understand. He's smart like that. Sees things other people miss. Daniel smiled, small but real. He said you needed someone patient. That I needed someone real. He wasn't wrong. They walked the rest of the loop around the pond. The conversation got lighter. Movies they'd seen. Books they'd read. Daniel told her about growing up with his dad's stories of Apache traditions. Lily told him about working at the diner, about Rita and her terrible coffee puns. An hour passed. Then 2. The sun started dipping lower. I should probably go, Lily said, though she didn't particularly want to. Yeah, me too. Got an early shift tomorrow. They walked back toward the parking lot together. That careful distance still there, but it felt less like fear now and more like respect. Would you want to do this again? Daniel asked when they reached her bus stop. Lily's immediate instinct was to say no. To protect herself. To run back to the safety of her apartment and her 3 locks and her carefully controlled life. But that quiet, hopeful part of her was a little louder now. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. No pressure, just if you want to. I'll think about it. That's fair. He pulled out his phone. Can I get your number? So you don't have to go through my dad next time. She hesitated, then nodded. They exchanged numbers. His contact name in her phone just said Daniel. Thanks for showing up, he said. I know it was hard. Thanks for not making it harder. Her bus came. She climbed on, found a seat by the window. Daniel was still standing there, hands back in his pockets, watching until the bus pulled away. Lily texted Aisha. I'm alive. It was okay. Actually kind of good. Then she texted the number she'd just saved. Made it home safe. Thanks for today. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, glad you came. Sleep well. That night she only checked her locks twice. Progress. 3 days passed before Lily texted Daniel again. She'd typed and deleted dozens of messages. Want to meet up? Too eager. Are you free this week? Too formal. Hey. Too casual. Finally she settled on. There's a coffee shop near the library. Good coffee, quiet, interested. His response came within minutes. Thursday afternoon? I'm off at 3. 4 o'clock works. See you there. She told Dr. Williams about it in their Wednesday session. How are you feeling about seeing him again? The therapist asked, nervous. But different nervous. Not the bad kind. More like anticipation. Dr. Williams smiled. That's wonderful, Lily. That's you coming back to life. Coming back to life. The phrase stuck with her. Is that what this was? She'd been so focused on survival for so long, she'd forgotten what living actually felt like. Thursday afternoon, Lily arrived at the coffee shop 15 minutes early. Claimed a table by the window where she could see the street. Escape routes mapped automatically in her mind. Nearest exit. Path to the door. Old habits, she ordered a latte. Something to do with her hands. Daniel arrived exactly at 4. Spotted her immediately, waved. Ordered his own coffee before coming over. Hey, he said, sitting down across from her. Hey. He looked tired, more than last time. His uniform shirt had a small coffee stain on the sleeve. His hair was pulled back but messier than it had been at the park. Long day? She asked. Long week? Had a situation on the reservation. Domestic dispute that got ugly. He rubbed his face. Sorry, you probably don't want to hear about that. It's okay. You don't have to pretend it didn't happen. Most people don't want to hear the heavy stuff. I'm not most people. He smiled at that. Tired, but genuine. No, you're definitely not. They sipped their coffee. The shop was quiet except for the espresso machine and soft music playing overhead. A few other people scattered at tables, absorbed in laptops or books. Can I ask you something? Lily said, sure. Why'd you say yes? When your dad told you about me? Daniel considered this, turning his coffee cup in slow circles. Honest answer? That's the only kind worth having. I was lonely. Am lonely. And I figured someone who understood hard things might be easier to talk to than someone who hasn't. He looked up at her. Plus, Dad's instincts are usually good. When he says someone's worth meeting, they usually are. What if I'm not? Worth it, I mean. You showed up to the park. You're here now. That makes you worth it in my book. Over the next 2 hours, they talked about everything and nothing. Daniel told her about growing up on the reservation, learning Apache traditions from his grandfather. The ceremonies. The stories. The language he was still trying to master as an adult. Lily talked about her childhood. Her parents who meant well but never quite understood her. Her sister who lived across the country and called twice a year. The distance she'd always felt from her own life. Sometimes I think I've been running from myself for so long, I don't know who I am anymore, she admitted. Maybe you don't have to know yet. Maybe you just have to start looking. They made plans to meet again. This time Daniel suggested a museum. There's an art exhibit downtown. Native American artists. Some from our tribe. Might be interesting. I don't know much about art. Neither do I. We can be confused together. Saturday came. The museum was bigger than Lily expected. Bright white walls, polished floors, the kind of quiet that made you whisper. They walked through the exhibit slowly. Paintings that exploded with color, sculptures that seemed to move even while standing still. Pottery with patterns that told stories Lily couldn't read but felt anyway. Daniel explained what he knew. The symbolism, the techniques passed down through generations. He spoke with his hands, animated in a way she hadn't seen before. You really love this, she observed. My mom painted. Nothing like this, just for fun. Watercolors mostly. She used to say art was how you made sense of things that didn't have words. He stopped in front of a large canvas, a woman's face half in shadow, half in light. She painted me right before she got sick. Said I was light and dark, joy and sadness. That's how life was. Both things at once. Do you still have it? The painting? On my wall. Look at it every morning. They sat on a bench in front of that painting for a long time, not talking, just sitting. Lily realized this was becoming comfortable. His presence. The silence that didn't need filling. Her phone buzzed. A text from Rita. How's the museum? You okay? She'd told Rita where she was going. Needed someone to know. Just in case. Good. Really good, actually. 3 weeks became a month. They met twice a week, sometimes 3 times. Coffee shops, parks. A bookstore where they spent 2 hours browsing without buying anything. A diner that wasn't Lily's where they split pancakes and argued about whether breakfast or dinner was the superior meal. Daniel never pushed. Never tried to touch her. Never made her feel like she owed him anything. They just existed together. 2 people learning to be around someone else. Big Joe started coming back to Lily's diner. First time, he sat at his usual counter seat, that gentle smile on his weathered face. Heard you've been seeing my boy, he said when she poured his coffee. Your spies tell you that? He laughed, deep and warm. He tells me. Can't stop talking about you, actually. Drives his uncle crazy. Lily felt her face heat. We're just friends. Nothing wrong with friends. Some of the best love stories start with friendship. He took a sip. He seems lighter. First time in years I've seen him excited about something. So thank you for that. I'm not doing anything special. You're showing up. That's everything. One evening, Daniel invited her to the reservation. A community gathering. Food and music and stories, no pressure, he said quickly when her face went pale. But I thought you might want to see where I'm from. Meet some people. Only if you're comfortable. She almost said no. Crowds weren't her thing. Strangers definitely weren't her thing. But Daniel would be there. And somehow that made it feel possible. Okay, yes, I'll come. The reservation was an hour's drive, rolling hills and wide sky, houses scattered across the landscape. A community center where people were already gathering when they arrived. Daniel's family descended on them immediately. Aunts and uncles and cousins, everyone wanting to meet the girl Daniel had mentioned. Not in an overwhelming way, just warm, welcoming. Big Joe was there, of course, pulled her into a quick, gentle hug before she could tense up. "Glad you came," he said. An older woman, Daniel's aunt, brought them plates loaded with food. Fry bread and beans and meat Lily couldn't identify but tasted incredible. "You eat," the aunt commanded. "Too skinny. Daniel doesn't feed you?" "Aunt Maria, leave her alone," Daniel said, but he was smiling. They sat at a long table with Daniel's family. The conversation flowed around her in English and Apache. Stories and laughter and gentle teasing. Daniel translated when needed, his hand hovering near hers on the table but never quite touching. After dinner there was music. Drums and singing. Some people danced. Daniel didn't push her to join, just sat beside her, swaying slightly to the rhythm. "This is nice," Lily said quietly. "Yeah? Yeah, different from what I'm used to." But nice. An elder approached them, older than Big Joe, with long gray hair and eyes that seemed to see everything. "You're the one Daniel talks about," the elder said to Lily. "Not a question." "I guess so." "Good. He needs someone who understands shadows, someone who's walked through dark places and kept walking." The elder placed a wrinkled hand briefly on Lily's shoulder. She tensed but didn't pull away. "Healing isn't linear, child. Some days you move forward, some days you fall back. That's okay. The point is you keep trying." Then the elder moved on, leaving Lily with tears burning in her eyes. On the drive home they were quiet. The good kind of quiet. "Your family is wonderful," Lily said. "They liked you. Maria already invited you to the next gathering. I might actually come." "Yeah?" "Yeah," he drove her home. Walked her to her apartment building door even though it was late. "Thank you for tonight," she said. "For sharing that with me. Thanks for coming. I know it wasn't easy." They stood there in the glow of the streetlight. That space between them had gotten smaller over the weeks. "Not gone, but smaller. Can I try something?" Daniel asked, his voice careful. "You can say no." Her heart jumped. "What? Can I hold your hand?" "Just for a second. If it's too much, just tell me and I'll stop." Every instinct screamed no. Proximity meant danger. Touch meant pain. She'd learned that lesson so well it was written into her bones. But this was Daniel, who'd been patient for months, who never pushed, who waited for her to lead. She nodded, not trusting her voice. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. His hand was warm, calloused from work. He didn't grab or squeeze, just held, gentle, present. Lily's breath caught. Her mind spiraled through memories. Other hands that hadn't been gentle. Other touches that had left bruises. But Daniel's hand just held hers. That was all. "No demands. No expectations, okay?" he asked softly. She nodded again. Her hand was shaking, but she didn't pull away. They stood like that for maybe 30 seconds. Then Lily's breathing got too fast and she gently pulled back. "Sorry," she gasped. "Don't be sorry. You did great. That was really brave. I couldn't even hold your hand for a minute. You held it for 30 seconds longer than you thought you could. That's huge." She looked up at him. He wasn't disappointed or frustrated. Just proud of her. "Next time will be easier," she said, surprising herself. 3 months after their first meeting, winter arrived early. Snow fell on a Tuesday morning, turning the city into something clean and new. Lily watched it from the diner window during the early shift, mesmerized by how it covered everything. The dirty streets, the cracked sidewalks, all hidden under white. Her phone buzzed. "Daniel. First snow. Want to go for a walk tonight after your shift?" She smiled and typed back. "You're crazy. It's freezing." That's what coats are for. Plus, the park looks beautiful in snow. Trust me. Trust me." 2 words that used to send her running. But coming from Daniel, they felt different. Earned, not demanded. "Okay. Pick me up at 6? It's a date." Date. They'd been seeing each other for months now, but neither had officially called it dating. They existed in this comfortable space between friendship and something more. Learning each other slowly. Building foundation before attempting walls. Rita noticed Lily's smile as she refilled coffee carafes. Someone's in a good mood. Daniel wants to walk in the snow tonight. That boy's got it bad for you. We're just friends. Rita gave her that look, the one that said she saw right through the deflection. Honey, I've been married 32 years. I know what just friends looks like. That ain't it. Maybe Rita was right. Maybe they'd crossed some invisible line without Lily noticing. Or maybe she had noticed but was too scared to name it. Naming things made them real. Real things could hurt you. Daniel picked her up right at 6. He'd brushed the snow off his truck and had the heat running. Your chariot awaits, he said with a mock bow. She laughed. He'd been making her laugh more lately. Real laughs that came from somewhere deep. Not the polite kind she'd perfected for customers. The park was transformed. Snow muffled everything, made the city quiet in a way it never was. Their footsteps crunched. Their breath made clouds in the cold air. Told you it was worth it, Daniel said. Okay, you were right. It's beautiful. They walked their usual path around the pond. Everything familiar but made new. Lily had learned this about healing. You could revisit the same places, the same fears, and find them changed. Not gone, but different. Less sharp. Can I ask you something? Daniel said eventually. You always ask that first. Because consent matters, even in questions. God, he was good. How did he always know the right thing to say? Ask. What are we doing? You and me. Because I know what I want this to be, but I don't know what you want. Her stomach flipped. The question she'd been avoiding for weeks now. What do you want it to be? I asked first. Fair enough. Lily watched her boots crunch through fresh snow. Buying time. Organizing thoughts that refused to be organized. I don't know, she finally admitted. I like spending time with you. I think about you when we're not together. When something happens, you're the first person I want to tell. But the word relationship makes me want to run. Like if we name it, it becomes real. And real things end. Usually badly. Daniel was quiet for a moment. Not everything ends badly. Everything in my experience has. Then maybe your experience needs updating. They reached the bridge. Their spot, where they'd first really talked. Daniel stopped, leaned against the railing like he had that first day. I'm not him, he said quietly. I'm not whoever hurt you. I know you know that intellectually, but I need you to know it here. He gestured to his heart. I would never hurt you on purpose, never make you feel small, never use your love as a weapon. Lily's eyes burned. I know, I do know that. But knowing and feeling are different things. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. Daniel turned to face her fully. We don't have to call it anything, we just keep doing what we're doing, meeting up, talking, being together, no labels, no pressure, just us, figuring it out as we go. You'd be okay with that? No definition? I'm okay with whatever makes you feel safe. If that's no labels, fine. If it's seeing other people, that's your choice. I just want to be around you, Lily. However that looks. She thought about it. The freedom he was offering. The patience. Most guys would have run by now. But Daniel wasn't most guys. I don't want to see other people, she heard herself say. I can barely handle you. He smiled. Same. You're all I can handle too. So we're exclusively undefined. Something like that. They started walking again. Lily's hands were getting cold even in her gloves. Without thinking, she moved closer to Daniel. Their shoulders bumped. He glanced at her, eyebrow raised. A question. She nodded slightly. Permission? He slipped his arm around her shoulders, careful and loose. Easy to escape if she needed to. But she didn't need to. She leaned into his warmth, into his solidity, and kept walking. This was progress. This was healing. Not every day was good after that. Healing wasn't a straight line. 2 weeks later, Lily had a nightmare. The worst one in months. Woke up screaming, tangled in sheets, convinced her ex was in the apartment. It took 20 minutes for her heart to stop racing, for her to remember where she was, safe, alone. 3 locks on the door. She called Daniel at 3 in the morning, shaking. I'm sorry, I just needed to hear someone's voice, and hey, it's okay, I'm here. What do you need? Can you just talk? About anything. I don't care what. He talked for an hour, about work, about a book he was reading, about his Aunt Maria's terrible jokes. Nothing important. Everything important. Just his voice, steady and calm, reminding her she wasn't alone in the dark. She told Dr. Williams about it. You reached out, the therapist said. Instead of suffering alone, you asked for help. That's tremendous growth. It was just a phone call. It was trust that's harder than a phone call. Christmas approached. Daniel invited her to spend it with his family on the reservation. I know it's a lot, he said. But Dad's asking. Maria's asking. Everyone wants to see you again. What about you? Do you want me there? I always want you around. Thought you'd figured that out by now. She went. Spent Christmas Eve in Big Joe's house, which was smaller than she expected but filled with warmth, filled with family. They welcomed her like she belonged there. Maria gave her a hand-woven blanket. For cold nights, she said. Everyone needs something to wrap themselves in when the world feels too big. Big Joe gave her something else, a small stone, smooth and dark, that fit perfectly in her palm. It's called a worry stone, he explained. Apache tradition. When you're anxious, you hold it. Rub it. Let it ground you. Remind you that you're connected to something older and bigger than your fear. Lily held it tight. Thank you. You're family now, he said simply. Whether you and Daniel figure things out or not, you're family. That doesn't change. She cried in the bathroom. Good tears. The kind that come when you realize you're not as alone as you thought. Daniel found her after, knocked gently on the door. You okay? Yeah. Just overwhelmed. Good overwhelmed. Want to get some air? They stood on Big Joe's porch watching snow fall gently. The reservation was beautiful at night. Stars you couldn't see in the city. Quiet that felt peaceful instead of empty. I'm glad you came, Daniel said. Me too. I got you something. Nothing big. Just... He pulled a small wrapped package from his jacket pocket. Christmas present. She opened it carefully. Inside was a silver bracelet, simple and delicate, a small turquoise stone set in the center. It's from a jeweler on the reservation. The turquoise is for healing, for protection. He helped her put it on. Thought you might like it. I love it. She touched the stone gently. I didn't get you anything. You showed up. That's the best present you could give me. New Year's Eve, they went to a quiet bar. No crazy parties, just good music and better company. When midnight came, everyone around them was kissing. Daniel looked at her. Can I kiss you? Her heart hammered. This was it. The line they'd been dancing around for months. I want you to. But I'm scared. Scared of me or scared of what it means? What it means. Then we wait. Until you're not scared. However long that takes. But she didn't want to wait. She wanted to be brave. Wanted to stop letting fear drive every decision. Ask me again, she whispered. Can I kiss you? Yes. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to change her mind, to pull away. But she didn't. She closed her eyes and let it happen. His lips were soft, gentle. The kiss lasted maybe 3 seconds. Chaste and sweet and everything she needed it to be. When he pulled back, she was crying. Too much? He asked, concerned. No. Perfect. It was perfect. She touched her lips, amazed. I thought I'd panic. But I didn't. Proud of you. I'm proud of me too. January brought bitter cold. February brought doubt. Not about Daniel. About herself. She'd been doing so well, making progress, healing. But trauma wasn't linear. Some days she woke up and felt like she'd gone backward, like all the work meant nothing. On one particularly bad day, she snapped at him over nothing. Why are you even with me? I'm so much work, so broken. You could find someone easier. Daniel didn't get defensive. Just looked at her with those calm, kind eyes. I don't want easy. I want real. And you're the most real person I've ever met. That's not an answer. Yes, it is. You think I don't have hard days? Days where I'm barely holding it together? We all do. The difference is whether you go through it alone or with someone. I don't want to be your project. You're not. You're my partner. There's a difference. He reached for her hand. She let him take it. Partners share the weight. That's the whole point. Partner. Not girlfriend. Not undefined thing. Partner. She could live with that. It happened on a Tuesday night in late April. Lily had been having a good week. Great even. She'd gotten a promotion at the diner, small but meaningful. Rita was training her to be assistant manager. More money, more responsibility. Proof that she was capable of building something. She'd spent the evening with Daniel watching movies at his apartment. He lived simply. One-bedroom place near the reservation. Clean and organized in the way of someone who lived alone and liked it that way. Pictures of his mother on the walls. Her painting of him over the couch. They'd been more comfortable with touch lately. His arm around her. Her head on his shoulder. Small intimacies that felt earned. Around 10, Lily headed home. Daniel offered to drive her, but she'd taken the bus. Wanted the independence. The proof that she could navigate the world alone. The bus dropped her off 2 blocks from her apartment. Familiar walk. Safe neighborhood. She'd done it 100 times. She didn't see him until she was at her building's entrance, her ex, standing there in the shadows like a ghost made flesh. Time stopped. Her keys fell from shaking hands. Every muscle locked up. Fight or flight, and she couldn't do either. Just freeze. Just prey instincts taking over. Lily. His voice. The one from her nightmares. We need to talk. She couldn't speak. Couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. He looked the same. Handsome in that dangerous way. The way that had fooled her once. Smooth smile. Expensive jacket. Like he hadn't destroyed her life. Like he had every right to be here. I've been looking for you. You just disappeared. That's not fair, Lily. We had something good. Good. He thought what they had was good. Stay away from me. The words came out barely a whisper. Come on, don't be like that. I just want to talk. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. He stepped closer. She stepped back. Hit the building wall, trapped. This was it. This was her worst fear made real. Not the hypothetical danger she'd been healing from. The actual source. Right here. Right now, I said stay away. Louder this time. Hands fumbling for her phone in her pocket. Or what? You gonna call the cops? Tell them what? That I want to talk to my girlfriend? I'm not your girlfriend. I haven't been for 8 months. Details. He smiled. That smile that used to make her feel special. Now it just made her feel sick. You look good, healthy, been taking care of yourself. Her thumb found her phone. Found Daniel's contact. Called it without looking. Who you calling? Her ex's face changed. The mask slipping. You got someone else? Is that what this is? You left me for someone else? I left because you hurt me. Every day. In every way. I never laid a hand on you. You didn't have to. The phone rang. Once. Twice. Pick up. Please pick up. Please. Lily? Daniel's voice, concerned. Everything okay? He's here. Her voice broke. At my apartment. I need help. She heard movement. Daniel was already moving. I'm coming. Stay on the phone. Stay where people can see you, her ex heard. His expression darkened. Oh, so you did find someone. That was fast. How long were you cheating on me, huh? I wasn't. Shut up. The words came out sharp, familiar, the tone that used to make her small. I gave you everything. And you replaced me? Like I meant nothing? Daniel, he's getting closer. Lily pressed against the wall. I'm 5 minutes away. Get inside the building if you can. But her ex was blocking the door, and she'd dropped her keys. They were somewhere on the ground between them. You're pathetic, you know that? Her ex was on a roll now, building momentum. Broken little thing. Think this new guy actually cares about you? He'll figure out what you are soon enough. Used up, worthless, nobody wants damaged goods. The words hit like they always had, finding the vulnerable places, the beliefs she'd been fighting to unlearn. But something was different this time. She'd spent 8 months rebuilding herself. 8 months learning she was more than what he'd told her she was. 8 months with people who saw her value even when she couldn't see it herself? You're wrong. Her voice was shaking but clear. I'm not worthless. I'm not broken. And I'm definitely not yours anymore. The hell you're not? A truck screeched to a stop at the curb. Daniel was out before it fully stopped, phone still to his ear, crossing the distance in long strides. He was bigger than her ex, taller, broader. But that's not what made her ex step back. It was the look on Daniel's face, calm but deadly serious. The look of someone who'd dealt with dangerous situations before and knew exactly what he was capable of. She told you to stay away. Daniel's voice was low, controlled. I'm telling you the same thing. Leave now. And who are you supposed to be? Her hero? Her ex laughed, but it was nervous. This is between me and her. There is no you and her. There's just her. And she doesn't want you here. I have a right to talk to my girlfriend. I'm not your girlfriend. Lily found her voice again, found her strength. I haven't been for 8 months. And I never will be again. Daniel positioned himself between them, not aggressive, just present, a wall between Lily and danger. This is your one chance, Daniel said calmly. Walk away. Don't come back. Don't contact her. Don't even think about her. Or we involve the police and lawyers and make this official? You threatening me? I'm informing you of consequences. There's a difference. They stood like that for a long moment. 2 men, different kinds of strength. One that took and one that protected. Her ex broke first. Stepped back. Put his hands up in mock surrender. Whatever. She's not worth it anyway. Have fun with my leftovers, man. He walked away, got into a car parked down the street, drove off into the night. The second he was gone, Lily's legs gave out. Daniel caught her before she hit the ground, lowered them both down to sitting on the front steps. I've got you. You're safe. He's gone. She was shaking so hard her teeth chattered. Adrenaline flooding out all at once. Months of progress felt like they'd been erased in 5 minutes. I'm sorry. I should have let you drive me home. I shouldn't have been alone. Stop. This is not your fault. None of this is your fault. I thought I was stronger. I thought I'd gotten better. But I froze. I couldn't even move. You didn't freeze. You called for help. You told him no. You stood your ground. That's not freezing. That's surviving. Daniel held her while she cried. Right there on the steps. Didn't try to move her inside. Didn't try to make it better. Just held her and let her fall apart. Eventually, she had no tears left. Just hollow exhaustion. Let's get you inside, Daniel said gently. Where are your keys? They found them in the dark. Got inside, up to her apartment. She checked the locks. 3 times, then 4, then 5. They're locked, Daniel said softly. He can't get in. You're safe. What if he comes back? Then we file a restraining order tomorrow. Make it official. Make it have teeth. He knows where I live now, so we fix that. Move if we have to. Change your number. Whatever makes you feel safe. Move. Change everything again. Start over. The thought was exhausting. I'm so tired of being scared, she whispered. I know, but you don't have to do it alone. He stayed that night. Slept on her couch even though she offered the bed. Said he just wanted to be close in case she needed anything. In case the nightmares came, they came. She woke up at 2 in the morning, gasping. Daniel was there in seconds, sitting on the floor by her bed. Just a dream. You're safe. He's not here. Tell me something, anything. I just need to hear your voice, so he talked. About growing up. About his mom teaching him to be gentle even when the world was hard. About his dad showing him that real strength was patience. About how scared he'd been when his mom got sick. How helpless he felt watching her fade. I couldn't protect her, he said quietly. From the cancer. From the pain. I would have taken it all myself if I could, but I couldn't. That must have been awful. It taught me something, though. You can't protect people from everything. But you can be there. You can show up. You can hold their hand while they fight their own battles. Lily reached down from the bed, found his hand in the dark, held it tight. Thank you for showing up tonight. Always. That's not even a question. She fell back asleep, holding his hand. When she woke up at dawn, he was still there. Asleep, sitting up, his head resting against her bed, their hands still connected. The next morning, they went to the police station, filed a report, started the paperwork for a restraining order. It felt official, real, like drawing a line in permanent ink. The officer taking the report was kind, a woman who'd probably seen this 1,000 times. You did the right thing, she told Lily. Documenting it, creating a paper trail. If he violates the order, he goes to jail. No questions. What if he doesn't care about the order? Then we make him care. But most of them do. Most of them are cowards who back down when there are real consequences. Lily wanted to believe that, needed to believe that. That afternoon, Big Joe came to her apartment. Daniel must have called him. He brought food because of course he did. Homemade stew in a container that was still warm. How you holding up? He asked, settling onto her small couch like he'd always belonged there. I don't know. Scared. Angry. Tired. That's all normal. All makes sense. I thought I was past this, past being afraid of him. Healing isn't about not being afraid. It's about being afraid and doing it anyway. Big Joe looked at her with those gentle eyes. You called for help. You fought back. You're here. That's what matters. Daniel was amazing, she said. I don't know what would have happened if he hadn't come. 1 year. That's how long it had been since Big Joe first sat at Lily's counter and ordered black coffee with toast. 1 year since she was a girl who whispered, "Don't touch me, I'm broken," like a prayer. 1 year since she believed her own words. She still had hard days. Therapy was ongoing, probably always would be. Some scars didn't fully heal, they just became part of you. But she'd learned to carry them differently. Not as shame, but as proof. Proof she'd survived. Proof she was stronger than what tried to break her. It was June now. Warm and bright, the kind of day that felt full of possibility. Daniel had asked her to come to the reservation. Said his dad wanted to talk to both of them. Something important. Should I be nervous? Lily asked as they drove. Nah. If Dad wanted to scare you, he'd have done it by now. Big Joe's house looked different in summer. Garden in full bloom. Flowers his wife had planted years ago that he still tended, keeping her alive in small ways. He was sitting on the porch when they arrived. 2 other men with him. Elders Lily had met at community gatherings. They all stood when she and Daniel approached. Lily, Daniel, come sit. Big Joe gestured to chairs arranged in a circle. We need to talk about something, they sat. Lily's stomach fluttered with nerves. You've been together a year now, Big Joe started. I've watched you both. How you are with each other. How you've grown. Dad, if this is the talk about, hush, let me speak. But Big Joe was smiling. I asked you to meet my son a year ago because I saw something. Saw 2 people who needed each other, who could help each other heal. You were right, Lily said softly. I usually am. He winked. But here's what I didn't expect. I didn't expect you 2 to be this good together. To fit like pieces that were always meant to connect. One of the elders spoke up. An old man named Thomas with silver hair down to his waist. In our tradition, when 2 people find each other like this, when healing brings them together, it's sacred. It's meant to be honored. Lily glanced at Daniel. He looked as confused as she felt. What are you saying? Daniel asked. Big Joe leaned forward. I'm saying it's time to make it official. Time to ask the question properly. Dad, will you marry my son? Big Joe looked directly at Lily. I'm asking formally. In the traditional way. On behalf of my family. Will you join us? Become part of this family not just in heart but in ceremony? The world tilted sideways. Lily's mouth opened but no words came out. She looked at Daniel. His eyes were wide. Clearly he hadn't known this was coming either. Dad, you can't just, why not? You love her. She loves you. Everyone knows it. You're both just too scared to take the next step, so I'm taking it for you. That's not how proposals work, Daniel said, but he was fighting a smile. Says who? In the old days, families arranged everything. Maybe we should bring some of that back. The other elders were nodding, grinning. Clearly they'd been in on this plan. Lily found her voice finally. You're asking me to marry Daniel? Like actually marry him? Yes. Unless you hate the idea, in which case we'll pretend this never happened and you can keep doing whatever you're doing. I don't hate the idea, Lily said slowly. I'm just surprised? Good surprise or bad surprise? She looked at Daniel again. Really looked at him. This man who'd been patient when she needed patience. Who'd shown up when she needed help. Who'd loved her broken pieces and never asked her to hide them. Good surprise, she whispered. Daniel reached for her hand. For the record, this is not how I planned to do this. I had a whole thing. Was going to take you to the place we first met. Had a ring picked out. Speech prepared. You were planning to propose? Eventually. When it felt right. When I was sure you were ready. And if I said I'm ready now? His face lit up like sunrise. Then I'm the luckiest guy alive. Big Joe stood up, pulled something from his pocket. A ring. Simple silver band with small turquoise stones. This was my wife's. My Daniel's mother's. She'd want you to have it. Tears streamed down Lily's face as Big Joe placed the ring in Daniel's hand. Daniel slid off his chair, got down on one knee right there on his father's porch, held up the ring with shaking hands. Lily, I know we've only been together a year. I know you're still healing. I know marriage is probably terrifying after everything you've been through. But I love you. I love your strength, your courage, the way you keep showing up even when it's hard. I don't want to fix you because you're not broken. I just want to stand beside you while we both keep healing. Will you marry me? The answer was easy, easier than anything had been in years. Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. He slipped the ring on her finger. It fit perfectly. Like it had been waiting for her all along. The elders cheered. Big Joe pulled them both into a hug that lifted them off their feet. About time, he said, voice thick with emotion. My son finally did something right. Dad, you literally just proposed for me. And it worked. You're welcome. That evening, they sat on Big Joe's porch as the sun set. Extended family had shown up somehow. Word traveled fast on the reservation. There was food and music and celebration. Lily watched it all feeling like she was in a dream. A good dream. The kind she'd stopped letting herself have. Maria, Daniel's aunt, sat down beside her. Overwhelmed? Completely. That's normal. You just agreed to marry into the loudest, most involved family you'll ever meet. She squeezed Lily's hand. But we protect our own. And you're our own now. Has been since the first time you showed up. This just makes it official. I never thought I'd have this. A family, a partner, a future that didn't feel heavy. That's because you forgot something important. You forgot you were worth having it. Later, when most people had gone home, Lily and Daniel walked to the spot where they could see stars. Millions of them. More than existed in the city. You okay? Daniel asked. Today was a lot. I'm better than okay. I'm happy. Like genuinely happy. When's the last time I could say that? Never since I've known you. Exactly. She leaned into him. His arm came around her automatically now. No hesitation, just home. Your dad knew, didn't he? That day in the diner. He knew we'd end up here. Dad sees things. Always has. Mom used to say he could read the future in people's faces. I'm glad he saw me. Saw us. Me too, they stood there for a long time. Two people who'd been broken by life. Who'd found each other in the fragments. Who'd built something beautiful from the sharp edges. Can I tell you something? Lily said quietly. Anything. I used to think being broken meant being finished. Like once something shattered, that was it. End of story. And now? Now I think maybe breaking is just the start of becoming something new. Something different. Not worse, just different. Daniel kissed her temple. Rita said that to you once. At the diner. You remember that? I remember everything about you. 3 months later, they got married. Small ceremony. Just family and close friends. On the reservation under open sky. Traditional Apache wedding blessed by the elders. Lily wore a simple white dress. Daniel wore traditional clothing. Big Joe officiated, tears streaming down his weathered face the entire time. My wife would have loved you, he told Lily before the ceremony. She always wanted Daniel to find someone real. Someone strong. That's you. Rita came, of course. Closed the diner for the day. Told Lily she looked like a completely different person from the scared girl who'd first walked in looking for work. You take up space now, Rita said, adjusting Lily's dress. You shine. That's what healing looks like. Aisha was there too. Maid of honor. They'd both come so far from those support group meetings. Look at us, Aisha whispered before Lily walked down the aisle. Told you it was possible. Told you there was life after surviving. You were right. I usually am. The ceremony was beautiful. Blending cultures, blending families, blending two broken people into something whole. When it came time for vows, Lily spoke from the heart. A year ago, I told myself I was broken. I believed it so completely that I tried to push away anything good. Anyone good. But you saw past that. You saw possibility where I saw endings. You taught me that healing isn't about becoming who you were before. It's about becoming who you're meant to be next. I love you. Not despite my scars, but because you helped me see their proof of my strength. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for staying. Thank you for asking your dad to ask me an impossible question that turned out to have the easiest answer I've ever given. Daniel's vows were simpler, but no less powerful. I was lost before you, going through motions. Existing but not living, you reminded me what it means to be fully human, to feel deeply, to hope again. I promise to be patient when you need patience, to be strong when you need strength, to be your safe place in a world that hasn't always been safe. I love you. Today and always. They exchanged rings. His mother's for her. A new one she'd picked out for him. Big Joe pronounced them married. What's been broken has been healed. What was separate is now joined. Go forward together. Build a life. Honor the journey that brought you here. The celebration lasted until dawn. Dancing and food and stories. Lily met cousins she didn't know Daniel had. Heard stories about his mother. About Big Joe's marriage. About love that endured even when life was hard. At some point deep in the night, Lily found Big Joe sitting alone watching the festivities. "Thank you," she said, sitting beside him. "For what?"